Hi, I'm Johnny Lewis, and this is my presentation for Module 7, Internal and External Publics. I use Creately to make my chart, which we'll see in a moment. Creately is pretty simple to use, very intuitive. I've used it before to make charts as well, and I've found it very simple for somebody who likes things to just be kind of clean and consistent. Before I show you my chart, these are my internal and external publics. My internal publics are all of the school staff from, as you'll see, administrators, office staff, support staff, social worker, guidance counselors, custodians, everybody. And then students and parents fall into both internal, external. I think there are pieces for each of those that includes students and parents. And then external includes business partners, in particular for DeSoto High School. That would be the Chamber of Commerce for the City of DeSoto, local government officials from City Hall, Town Council, booster clubs, non-parent community members, site-based council, PTA, and again, students and parents. The primary methods of communication for the internal, we use all three for each layer, as you'll see, oral, digital, and written. The oral includes face-to-face encounters, office visits, things like that, faculty meetings, parent-teacher conferences, and IEP meetings. Digital communication, social media, website usage for announcements, documents, forms, and scheduling, and then written communication primarily is emails between staff, emails with students, and emails with parents, and then the administrative and special education documents. In analyzing those different communication methods, the oral communication, faculty meetings often feel unnecessary and lack purpose. It feels like we're just having meetings because we're supposed to have a meeting. Digitally, I think this is where our school excels. All of the forms, all of the announcements, any calendar, any information that a student, a parent, or staff member needs is very accessible on the website and also via social media. And then as far as written communication goes, one of the struggles for me as a special education teacher is that the district has some of the folks at the district level have a hang-up about digital communication for IEP access or certain documents that are confidential, and all those have to be done on paper. And I've worked in other districts where that wasn't the case, and it sometimes feels like that slows us down and could be enhanced. For external communications, again, face-to-face encounters, parent meetings, commerce and city council meetings, digital communication, same things we've already mentioned. Written communication would be emails to local officials, letters, posted signs, anything in print media, although DeSoto doesn't have a local print media. The closest thing to that would be the Kansas City Star, and so there just aren't a lot of needs for that type of communication. Most of those kinds of things that might go into a small town newspaper or something like that wind up on social media or sent via email. And so an analysis of the external communication, most staff and all admin live in other communities. So there is a limited oral or face-to-face communication between those external communities. There's nobody who goes to chamber meetings or civic events that happen on the weekends or council meetings or those sorts of things because everybody works out of town and kind of drives into the school. Digitally, again, excellent communication, and again, very little direct communication between DHS and the community beyond social media. No local print media or radio. And so to critique my chart, I think there could be a better description of two-way communication that could improve. I think the chart shows, as you'll see, there is clear definition of administrative roles and communication responsibilities, particularly for internal communication, and it shows a lack of detail and connection to community partners. And so here's a look at the internal communication side of my chart, and you'll see that the administrators Their roles are divided so that our associate principal and building principal do most of the primary communication with teachers and paras. Our associate principal handles all the special education side of communication with students, parents, support staff, those kinds of folks. Our office staff obviously does a little bit of everything. Our assistant principal, who's the athletic director, handles support staff like custodial staff, cafeteria staff, coaches, and then everyone, and then the building principal and the associate principal do most of the evaluations of teachers. They lead our faculty meetings. They do most of the communication between teachers and paras. And then, all of us in one form or another communicate with students and parents and guardians. And so all those lines kind of come together down here among students and parents, and then that line also extends onto the external side. And so this is a look at the external side. You can see a little bit of the internal over here, but this is the external communication piece. So our building principal does the site-based counsel. That's primarily written and oral from meetings, and then the same for the PTA. That's handled by our associate principal. And then they are the primary contacts for students and parent guardians. Our athletic director deals mostly with business partners. That's primarily through athletic sponsorship. Not a lot of Chamber of Commerce meetings or City Hall interaction. But when those things do occur, they occur either by our building principal or our athletic director. Non-parent community members, that happens via our athletic director, who does an awesome job with our social media, digital communication. He's just done a lot of work since he's been in that role to enhance those things. And then he also is the primary communication person for our booster clubs. So you can kind of see here our athletic director is kind of the person who communicates and handles marketing, web design, logos, all those kind of big external pieces really go through our athletic director, assistant principal, and our building principal just kind of supports him in that role. And then our building principal and associate principal really focus more on the internal communication. Site-based and PTA are external, but there's also, they kind of fall in that window that could be either external or internal. And so in analyzing my chart, I think that support for student growth is really seen. I think the school does an excellent job of everyone communicating well on the internal side, of students knowing who to go to, knowing who's available to them. I also think the school does an excellent job as far as from the building principal, down to paraprofessionals. Everyone is available to students. Nobody is too busy to spend time with students, and that two-way communication occurs very often there. So every area is covered and clear in their role, and I think that's really how our school does a good job of supporting student growth. These are the resources I use for my presentation.